Hey guys, I just wanted to make another video, trying to bring myself to make them more often. Definitely something, to work on and a goal of mine. Just kind of making a video today. I don't fully know what I want to talk about, but I was thinking, one of the things is sleep. I know that's something, well, I mean, it's something that I struggle with, and I know it's something that a lot of people do struggle with as well. And during my time at therapy and things like that, the therapist was thinking that the reason that I have such a hard time falling to sleep is because of a lot of the traumas that I've had, and a lot of the a lot of the things that happened during the nighttime hours. One of the things that I can think of for me is when I was maybe like 7 or 8 years old. Um, there was a man who came to my window almost every single night. You could hear him. Um, he wore big rain boots. I've seen them because I looked out the window and saw him. He also wore a raincoat, and yeah, so he wore big rain boots. You could hear him coming up the steps to the front door, and he would jingle the doorknob, and then he would try my window out because we had a window. Me and my sister shared a bedroom that was at the front of the house, right on the porch. And so he would try out the window, see if it was unlocked, and try out the front door, see if that was unlocked. And I'm sure he wandered around the house and tried many other avenues as well. Um, but he would knock on the window. He knew that my sister and I were in the front room. For sure, he knew that we were in the front room. And he would knock on the window and try to get us to open it. And I remember looking out a few different times to see like who was out there. And I would see the rain jacket and the rain boots. I couldn't see a face. And this happened for a long time. I remember telling my parents about it, and they they kind of thought I was crazy, I think. Like, yeah, right, somebody's knocking on the window every night. Um, and so, yeah, like, nobody really believed me. Um, and then one day, the neighbor across the street, um, they had a daughter around our age, minus my sister's age, and she was sleeping in her bedroom. And the mom was in the garage doing laundry, and I think the front door was unlocked, and the guy came in through the front door and went to the girl's bedroom and was like, "Hey, it's Daddy. Wake up. Let's go. We gotta go right now." And the girl was, groggy and not getting up right away. And right then, the mom walked into the house and saw the man in the bedroom, and it spooked him, and he ran off. And then it was on the news, and we were interviewed by the news and things like that. Um, and so I think he ended up getting caught. I wish I could remember his name. I've tried to look it up so many times. And it was a very scary situation, honestly. Like, my sister and I could have been kidnapped. The neighbor girl could have been kidnapped. This person was actively coming to my window every night. It was incredibly scary. So that definitely, I feel like, plays a part in my feelings of bedtime is not a safe time. And then, of course, we have my dad. If you guys watched my first video that I posted, you'll see that I talked a lot about the traumas and things like that in regards to my father. And yeah, he was not a very safe person. He was, in fact, a very abusive person. And there's a very high likelihood, I think I mentioned this in the other video as well, but there's a very high likelihood that he was molesting my sister and I, and we've blocked out the memory. My sister had a flashback one time, and was like, "Hey, I remembered things happening," and then I have been thinking that for a long time prior to that, because I knew about a lot of sexual things at a very young age that didn't make sense. Like, I thought like a man would pee in a woman's mouth, but I think it was really coming. I didn't know any better at 5, 6 years old. And then one time my sister woke up um, in the morning and her pants were off on the floor, and she's like, I don't know what happened. I don't remember anything at all. I don't remember getting up. And from that point forward, I slept. We had bunk beds, so I slept in the bottom bunk with her, or if anything, I made her sleep in the top bunk with me, and I slept on the outside of the bed. And I was like, I need to protect you, and that's what I remember so vividly is I need to protect you. And so that was every night felt terrifying, terrifying to go to sleep. Between that and whatever it was that I felt I needed to protect my sister from, which I'm pretty positive at this point was my father. And so yeah, that was another big nighttime type of a trauma. Another time, we were watching Unsolved Mysteries. um, Such a funny thing. So we were watching Unsolved Mysteries, and we turned it off. We were going to go to bed. I think I was around 8 or so around the time too, maybe 9. And my brother went to go check the garage door to make sure it was locked, and there was a guy in our garage, from the side door to the side yard, and he got spooked and he ran off. But that was definitely something that like stuck in my head. This guy trying to break into my house, um, and let's see. Then I lived in like the LA area. After we ran away from my dad, we ran away from Northern California to Southern California from him. Long situation, but we ended up in Southern California trying to stay safe from him while he stalked us and found us and all this kind of crazy stuff. So then I dealt with years of knowing that he was stalking us, seeing his vehicle driving by at random hours, things like that. And so then there was this constant fear of he's going to find us, he's going to get us. And so I needed to be vigilant at all times, right? So there was definitely that aspect. And then being in the LA area, it was not a safe neighborhood. Wherever we lived was not a safe neighborhood. One of the streets that we lived on, the first week of being there, a couple houses down, the entire family was murdered. It's probably like part of a cartel gang or something. But the whole family was murdered, and I was around 11, 12 years old at the time. And then we moved to another neighborhood nearby, and on that street, within the month, I think it was within a couple days, honestly, of moving there, another family was murdered, like right next door to us, the whole family. Another cartel type of situation. We had gunshots, drive-bys continuously, and it was more active at night. And so there'd be a lot of times where you didn't sleep in your bed because you weren't sure if the bullets were going to go through the walls, and the safer place was laying down on the floor. You're just hanging out in the living room watching TV with your family, and boom, everyone has to get on the floor because there's drive-bys. So just a lot of feeling unsafe. And then one of the neighborhoods we lived in, my sister and I, pretty sure there was like a peeping Tom kind of a guy. There was one of the windows in the bedroom that the guy would always come to. So that felt really unsafe. The bedroom felt like a very unsafe place, even to change your clothes in, even with the curtains. Like if it was just slightly open a little, you'll see like a little face like looking at you. So there's a lot of things that I've gone through in terms of sleeping time, bedtime, nighttime, that really make me feel unsafe. And then there's a more paranormal aspect of it as well. And I mentioned this in my last video, and people can think I'm crazy. I don't care. But I have always had the ability to see things that other people can't in terms of paranormal things, particularly something which I call jinn, and it's from a lot of people call it a jinn as well. But I grew up as Muslim, and that's where I learned about it eventually. Once I was old enough to be like, what is this, and started reading into more things, and then I was like, oh, that's what the name of it is, so this is why I call it that. Whatever it is what it is. However, it's like a dark shadowy type of a thing, and according to Islam, it's something that was created, what humans were created of clay, they were created of smoke and fire or whatever, and it's what Muslims believe that Satan was, he is a jinn. If I'm correct, I'm pretty sure I'm correct on that. Um, but yeah, so there's angels, there's humans, and then there's jinns, and I'm not really religious anymore in that kind of aspect. I deeply believe in God, and I deeply believe that there's a lot of truths in all of the main religions of the world. And but I feel like I'm more on the spiritual side, and that I don't think that there's one true religion. I believe that there's just a lot of truth within all of the religions, and that there is a higher power, whatever that may be. It's definitely not a person in the sky. Islam never taught us that it was a person in the sky in the first place. But anyways, so the jinn is something that I have been experiencing since I was very young, and I've been able to see them since my first memories, like 3 years old. Okay, and so the ones that I first began seeing were in my grandma's house. We were living with my grandma in Iran, and they were so evil. I'm like, oh my gosh, so evil. They live like in the parallel universe as us, and are able to interact with our universe, from what I understand, from the knowledge that I have, from the understanding that I have. Okay, so whatever the reality is, I don't know. This is what the knowledge that I'm picking up. So, anyways, the jinns in my grandma's house were evil, and the jinns that end up really interacting with people a lot of time are usually not the better ones, because they are just like humans. They have all the religions, they have the ability to be good, they have the ability to be bad, things like that. And but they'll be attracted to people who are really bad. Their energy field will essentially like attract these really awful beings over to them. Okay, so then there's some good jinns. Don't get me wrong, there's some good jinns, but the ones that I've experienced a lot of time were very negative because of being around my grandma and my father and things like that. So yeah, I started seeing those at a young age. They'd come around when I was sleeping a lot. My grandma's dining room honestly had the worst of it. And then later when we moved to America, the house was okay. You know, my dad was living in Iran. He hadn't been able to get here yet. And then I think it was about a year after we were in America that he ended up moving to America. And that's when the jinn activity in the house suddenly just skyrocketed. And I talked to my mom about it, and she's like, what the heck are you talking about? There's nothing, you're seeing nothing, you know. I was just a crazy little kid. And so, but the jinns, my brothers and I did all kinds of tests to like be like, my brothers and my sister, we would be like, okay, I see the jinn. Do you see it? And then we'll be like, yes. And then one person would go and like point to where they could see it. And yeah, we could all see it. Okay, and we'd be like, okay, yeah, nobody pointed to that initially, you know, nobody pointed to that spot, anything like that. But they would come and see us at night. They'd come in my sister at my room. I feel like they mostly like, I don't know how to explain it, but like there's a heaviness in the closet where you could like really feel their presence really strongly, and at night you could feel the energy coming out of the closet. You could see the shadow, things like that. And so then they would come in like, it's almost like a harassment. I don't know how else to explain it. At night, I thought it was ghosts when I was little. I was like, oh, this is just ghosts or whatever, and which is scary also, you know, for a little kid. But yeah, so I felt very frightened, like trying to sleep, knowing, like having that feeling like you're being watched. It's terrifying. It's really a terrifying thing, and it took a long time, a long time. Even last night actually, I was trying to sleep, and I just felt like this heavy presence around me, and you know, it makes it really hard to get your mind to go ahead and relax. But yeah, I spent years with that at that house, and then we moved. We ran away from my dad, things like that, and I could feel like the presence in certain houses stronger than other houses, because they also will like attach to a house. So that's why clearing houses is like a huge thing. I will use Palo Santo and sage and things like that. Clear the energy in my house whenever I move now, and even this current house that I live in. it used to be like a old folk home or like for people with disabilities or something. And I know people have died in here. Been a lot of, this house was built in 1900. You know, it's seen people, it's had energies in here. And so there's definitely heaviness in certain rooms more than others. And my kids have even talked about like seeing the jinn walking through the hallway or something. Um, Doors will randomly close. Last night I got locked out of the house randomly. I went out the back door and then I tried to get back in through the back door and the door was locked. I didn't lock the door. I was like, okay, cool. And what's funny is like, um, my son mentioned like 2 nights prior, he's like, be careful of the jinn in here. And I was like, okay, thanks for that. You know, make me feel really creeped out of the living room right now. And then, yeah, then went out the back door the next night and boom, I got locked out. So, and it's not an automatic locking door. You know, that's not what it does. But anyways, what was I saying? I have ADD brain, real bad ADD brain. Um, oh, when we moved to Michigan for a while, we lived in a house with a lady who was, meddling in like the darker crafts and things like that, and she really liked to talk to jinn, and she would use them to like get information from other people about other people, to use that information on other people, basically not great stuff. Okay, she was meddling with things that she really shouldn't be. And so her house was heavy. I'm talking about the heaviest I've ever felt with jinn activity. So insane. My mom never believed me about the jinn, okay? Even though like I found in like the Islamic books and things like that, I was like, look, this is the information. This is exactly what I was talking about that I would see when I was little and I've been telling you about for years. She's like, oh no, that's not possible. Probably just something else, you know? And anyways, so we moved to this house and she suddenly starts believing me about the jinn. And it was usually, for some reason, they get more active during the nighttime. Not really sure why, but during the evening hours after dinner, everyone's starting to settle into their rooms, things like that. You just kind of hang out in the living room. That's where our computer was, and anyone who was sitting on that computer knew that the jinn was like right here, right behind them. And my mom was like, I can feel it literally staring at me. I was like, this is what I've been telling you for so many years, that you did not believe me, and you told me that I was making things up or whatever. I was like, it's real. You can feel that energy now, you know, and it's a dark, heavy energy, and it's a dark, shadowy thing. She saw it, she felt it. She finally confirmed that I was not insane, and my siblings and all of us could feel it and see it and hear it and things like that. In that specific house is when I would have the most, gosh, what is that called? Sleep paralysis. So I've always struggled with that a lot. And a lot of people have linked that to jinn activity also. But anyways, I would get really intense sleep paralysis almost every time I tried to sleep. So that's probably number 5022 why I struggle with going to sleep and quieting my mind and being able to relax to the point that I can even sleep. But yeah, so I would get super bad sleep paralysis. It's like this crazy buzzing that starts in my ears, and I can feel like my body's trying to drift off to sleep, but something's like blocking it. So I'm super conscious, but my body gets paralyzed, and I'm in like this in between world, and it feels really weird and crazy. But that's when I can see the jinn the most, like so clearly. Like otherwise, they're like a shadowy, smoky looking figure. And then in that world, I could literally see a shape of some kind of like almost person looking thing, like, but like with a lot of light and fire type of a feeling to it. It was really weird. But there was a few different times where one of the jinns was in my room, and it picked me up from the bed and like dropped me back down repeatedly, because they loved harassing me in that house. I'm telling you, that house was crazy pants. Yeah, so I got attacked a few times in that room. The sleep paralysis was insane. It was just all bad news. And then yeah, and then so I've just had a lot of sleep issues. This house, particularly like right in that corner where I sleep, my little wall of stuff. that corner right there gets like the heaviest feeling, like so heavy sometimes. I have to regularly smudge that corner of the room to try to get that feeling to go away. I don't know what it is about that. There's also in the other room right next door, there's a corner by the window that gets really crazy feeling also. So yeah, so I struggle with sleep, and I know a lot of people struggle with sleep. Insomnia is a huge problem. Anxiety, racing thoughts, things like that. Mine is a lot of trauma based and weird experience based and paranormal based. But yeah, so I actually started. The whole point of my whole rambly long 20 minutes so far is that I wanted to talk about sleep hypnosis. I don't even know how I found it. I don't know what I was doing. I honestly don't even know how I came about it. But on YouTube, I found some sleep hypnosis, and I've been listening to it at night to help me like bring myself down. I started by just trying to do like little meditation. I think that's what it was. I think I was looking up meditations. That's what it was. I've been trying to do more meditation. I've been trying to ground myself more, do breathing, deep breathing, the like counting for on my inhale and exhaling for 8. The longer exhale is better. That's what I've been like listening to videos and people talking and things like that about breath work, and that the longer exhale is really important. So I've been trying to do that on my own and trying to like just calm my mind. But I think because of the massive amount of trauma in my entire life in regards to everything, I was still super struggling with getting my brain to be able to shut up and being able to kind of like block out the weird energies and stuff that I feel in the room, and being able to like just let go and go to sleep. And so I found sleep hypnosis. And yeah, you just put it in your search bar on YouTube and find who sounds best for you. You know, I prefer the male voice over a female voice. I have a lot of woman trauma, so the male voice. I mean, I have a lot of male trauma as well. But my female trauma, I guess, was like more intense at a younger age, so it's like affected me maybe a little bit more. But so I found Jason Stevenson, I believe. Hopefully he's okay with me saying his name. Go watch him. Or listen to him rather. And so I put that on, and he'll like walk you through like some breathing, and he'll do like a guided meditation kind of. Initially it'll be like kind of like breathing through different parts of your body, feeling like a light going through different parts of your body, depending on his video. Everyone's a little bit different. And so you're like imagining this light going through like your head and down and filling up the spaces between your ears and your eyes, and you breathe into that space, and then you relax, breathe out, and you allow a relaxation to happen, and then you move down to your neck, and then your shoulders and arms and fingers and all of this, and each different space you're like breathing in deeply and releasing to completely relax as much as you can. And my mind still wanders. My mind gets all over the place. And he'll encourage you throughout the video also, like, just come back to my voice if you notice your mind wandering. And so I'll do that. I'll just like, oh yeah, I see my mind's wandering, go back. I don't judge myself. I'm trying really hard and learning to not judge when my mind wanders during meditation. That was one thing that kept me from meditation for so long, was because I'm so ADD. I mean, like, if you're listening to me talking, you'll see I just like all over the place. And so I can't focus on things very long. And so that's something I'm trying to train myself into, is being able to like, ground that down. And that's what my videos are also, just like, hey, here's some real life, like, this is what I'm going through. I don't want you to see, oh, look, here I am, I'm the best version of myself, and now I'm going to talk about it. I want you to see me struggle. I want you to see me fail. I mean, I've already been doing work for 40 years. I'm 40 years old. I've already been doing a lot of stuff, but I kind of want to have everyone see me on my path where I'm doing the most growth. Right now, I feel like in the last 10 years, I've been on a path of, I think it's been more than 10 years, on a path of really trying to grow immensely, and then the last like 4 years I feel like it's been suddenly accelerated like so much more. And so I want everyone to kind of come on this journey with me, like, hey, how can I help you out, right? So yeah, so I've been doing this sleep hypnosis, and I really recommend it. I think that if you're struggling with sleep, go YouTube a video about sleep hypnosis, and try that out. It doesn't always work for me every single night. Some nights my anxiety and everything is so high that even then I'm like struggling. I have to like kind of repeat to the beginning of the video a couple of times to go through the more deep breathing process, because at some point it becomes affirmations and things like that, or just like kind of gentle talking to you, and like, you're enough, and you're abundant, and you've got this kind of talk, right? And then it kind of goes into less talking and more into music, things like that. And then some nights, I'll fall asleep nicely, everything will be great, and then I struggle with just wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. But I'll like rewind the video to like the more breathing parts of it, where you're just like really breathing in. I'll try to keep my mind focused on the breathing. Really thinking about my breathing helps me with the mind wandering the most. When that's starting to go wild, I'm just like, okay, breathe. Like saying the word, all right, inhale and exhale to myself. That allows my brain to like kind of push out all the rest of the constant chatter that's going on in there. But yeah, so I wanted to share that. Maybe one day I can like learn to teach people to sleep well through sleep hypnosis as well. I think it's been a wonderful thing for me, because didn't know what else to do. I tried, trazodone, melatonin. I don't have good side effects with medications. I don't really like taking medications anyways. And I just wanted something that I could do. And I think that honestly, it's helping me in more ways than just sleep. So yes, I'm getting a little bit better sleep. Yes, I'm being able to fall asleep a little bit faster. But I feel like there's been just more positive impact in my mindset altogether, because during the first hour, specifically when you're sleeping, your brain is actually like absorbing information subconsciously the most. So having somebody saying these positive affirmations is actually like rewiring your brain to think differently. And I can feel it in my day-to-day life, where I'm not thinking as many negative thoughts about myself. I'm thinking a little bit more positively. I'm thinking, like, I've got this. Like, even when I find myself going down a rabbit hole, and I still suffer like immensely from depression and thoughts of unaliving myself and things like that. That's something that's been like literally a lifelong struggle. I started thinking about that when I was like 6 years old, that I could remember at least. But I feel like more and more I have days where even when I'm having like everything around me falling apart, I'm able to like hold myself better than I used to be able to hold myself. Like previously I could see that I would have been like today, for example. Okay, things have been happening in my life, things like that aren't so wonderful, and I would normally have just been like spiraling down a rabbit hole of uncontrollable crying, sitting in a dark corner, and things like that. But here I am making a YouTube video instead, and I like, despite how crappy like all of that kind of feels, I still feel like pretty okay inside, and I think that's just such an immense amount of growth for myself, and I'm very proud of myself, and very grateful for all of the work that I've done. And honestly, I'm really hoping that my videos reach people and can help people as well. Like, hey, you're not alone. I've been through it, and I want people to be able to reach out to me. So that's my big thing is, hey, comment on my video. If you have had similar experiences, comment on my video with your own experience even. And if you want me to reach out to you and just have someone to chat with, just, reach out to me. Comment, private message me, whatever. But yeah, I really hope that I can help some people. And until next time, I will see you then. Bye.